Let me ask you something. What if I told you that building wealth is not a straight line? That for most people, it feels completely flat for years, and then, almost overnight, something shifts. The numbers start moving on their own. The account grows while you sleep. The gap between where you are and where you want to be starts closing fast, not because you worked harder, but because you finally crossed the line. That line has a name. And today, we are going to talk about the 3 net worth milestones that flip the switch and show you exactly what happens when your money takes off. My name is Ron, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is where we break down finance, automation, and the strategies that actually move the needle on your wealth. Before we dive in, hit that like button right now and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video that could change the way you think about money. Let's get into it. All right. So here is the truth that nobody talks about when they tell you to just invest and be patient. Building wealth does not feel inspiring in the beginning. In fact, it feels kind of pointless. You save $100 here, $200 there. You put money in your retirement account every month, and when you check the balance, it looks almost identical to what it looked like last month. You start asking yourself, is this even working? Yes, it is working. But you have not yet crossed the first milestone. Because here is what most financial content gets completely wrong. They treat wealth building like it is one long, continuous journey at the same speed, but that is not how it works at all. Wealth building is more like launching a rocket. The hardest part is getting off the ground. The fuel burn is massive. The progress looks slow. But at a certain altitude, something extraordinary happens. The atmosphere thins out, resistance drops, and the rocket accelerates on its own. That is exactly what happens with your net worth if you hit the right milestones. And today, we are breaking down all 3 of them. Milestone number 1. The first $10,000. The proof of concept. The first milestone is $10,000 in investable net worth. And yes, I know what you are thinking. Ron, $10,000? That does not sound that impressive. And you are right, it is not impressive on the surface. But what it represents is everything. Here is why this number matters. Before you hit $10,000, your financial life is almost entirely dependent on your behavior, your income, your spending habits, your ability to stay consistent when saving feels pointless. Every single dollar in your account got there because you put it there. Your money is not doing much for you yet. You are doing all the work. But $10,000 is your proof of concept. It is the evidence, hard, real, undeniable evidence that you can do this, that you are not just talking about it, that the plan actually works for a real human being living a real life with real bills and real temptations and real unexpected expenses. And here is something that most people do not fully appreciate about this milestone. The financial habits you build on the way to your first $10,000 become the foundation of every milestone that comes after it. The budgeting skills, the discipline to automate your savings before you can spend it, the ability to keep going when the market dips and your balance temporarily goes down instead of up. All of that is being built right here at the ground level. Now, from a pure math perspective, $10,000 invested at an average annual return of 8% generates about $800 per year. That is roughly $67 a month working for you. Not life-changing yet, but that money is in motion, and motion compounds. The biggest enemy at this stage is not the math. The biggest enemy is psychology, because $10,000 is the stage where most people quit. They look at their progress, compare it to where they want to be, feel overwhelmed, and stop. They think, at this rate, I will be old before I reach any real number. And so they give up, right before things start to get interesting. Do not let that be you. Your only job at this milestone is to survive it. Automate your savings, keep your expenses under control, and keep your eyes on the next target. Milestone number 2, the first $100,000, the inflection point. Now, here is where things start getting real. The second milestone, $100,000, is widely considered the most important financial milestone in most people's wealth-building journey. And I want to explain to you exactly why this number is so different from everything that came before it. Charlie Munger, the legendary investor and longtime partner of Warren Buffett, was famous for saying that the first $100,000 is the hardest. He even used a word I cannot repeat on this channel to describe how brutal it is. But his point was serious. Getting to $100,000 requires almost everything to come from your own effort, your own income, your own savings rate, your own consistency. But once you are at $100,000, the game changes completely. Here's the math. $100,000 at 8% annual returns generates $8,000 per year. That is over $650 a month, growing in the background while you live your life. That is a part-time job worth of income that requires 0 hours of your time. And it is just sitting there, quietly working every single day. But the real power of this milestone is not just the dollar amount. It is the acceleration that comes from it. Think about what it took to get from zero to your first $10,000. Let's say it took you 2 years of consistent saving and investing. Now think about what it took to get from $10,000 to $100,000. For many people, once they are building strong habits and increasing their income, this leg of the journey takes maybe 4 to 6 years. But here is what blows people's minds when they actually experience it. The journey from $100,000 to $200,000 can happen faster than it took to go from zero to $100,000. And the journey from $200,000 to $400,000 can happen faster than that. This is the power of compound interest in real time. And it starts becoming visible, truly visible, around the $100,000 mark. At this stage, your net worth is no longer entirely dependent on how much you save from your paycheck. Market returns are now making a meaningful contribution to your total wealth. You start logging into your accounts and seeing gains that are bigger than what you manually contributed that month. That is the moment. That is the inflection point. That is when people realize this thing is real. Now, getting from $10,000 to $100,000 is still mostly a behavior game. You need to be increasing your income. You need to be maximizing your contributions to tax-advantaged accounts. Your 401k, your Roth IRA, your HSA if you have access to one. You need to be investing consistently, not market timing, not panic selling, just steady, automated, boring contributions that compound over time. And here is something I want you to hear clearly. The automation piece is not optional at this stage. If you are manually transferring money to your investment accounts every month, you are leaving yourself exposed to every bad mood, every financial emergency, every moment of weakness. Automate it. Set it up so the money moves before you even see it. Treat your investment contributions like a bill, non-negotiable, automatic, and gone before you have a chance to spend it. This is one of the core principles we talk about on this channel, using systems and automation to take decision-making out of the equation. Because the best financial decision you ever make might be the one you set up once and never have to make again. The $100,000 milestone is also where you want to start getting serious about diversification. Not just stocks and bonds, but understanding your overall asset allocation. Are you too heavy in one sector? Too conservative given your age and time horizon? At $10,000, the stakes are low enough that minor errors are not catastrophic. At $100,000 and beyond, your allocation strategy starts to have real consequences on your long-term outcome. This is also the milestone where people often start noticing lifestyle inflation sneaking in. Income goes up. Friends start spending more, nicer car, bigger apartment, more expensive vacations, and suddenly, the savings rate that got you here starts shrinking. Do not let that happen. Protect your savings rate like your financial future depends on it, because it does. Milestone number 3, the $1 million mark, the point of no return. And now we arrive at the milestone that most people treat like a fantasy, but is actually more achievable than most people think, for more people than most people believe. $1 million in investable net worth. This is the milestone where wealth does not just grow. Wealth accelerates, where your money is no longer helping you build wealth. Your money is the wealth machine. And once you are here, the game is almost impossible to lose, as long as you do not do anything catastrophically stupid. Here is the math, and pay close attention, because these numbers are striking. $1 million at 8% annual returns generates $80,000 per year. $80,000 per year without working. That is above the median household income in many countries. just sitting there, growing, compounding, reinvesting. And then in year 2, you are not earning 8% on 1 million. You are earning 8% on $1,080,000, which means the following year's gain is even larger, which means the year after that, it is larger still. At $1 million, your net worth is growing by over $6,000 every single month from returns alone, before you add a single new dollar of savings. That means even if you stopped contributing entirely, your wealth would continue to expand aggressively. This is the point of no return. This is the milestone where, if you simply do not withdraw more than your portfolio generates, you have achieved something that very few people in human history have ever achieved: a self-sustaining financial life. Now, how do you actually get here? And how does automation play into this journey? The honest answer is that the path to $1 million looks different for different people depending on income, starting point, and timeline. But the principles are universal. First, time is your most powerful asset, and it is the only one that is non-renewable. Every year you delay starting is not just 1 year lost. It is the compounding of that year that is lost. If you start investing $500 a month at age 25 versus age 35, the difference in your account balance at 65 is not just $60,000 of extra contributions. It is potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in compounded growth. The math is brutal if you wait, and it is extraordinarily generous if you start now. Second, the gap between average income earners who build wealth and those who do not is almost never about how much money they make. It is about how much they keep and how early they put it to work. A teacher who saves 20% of their income and invests consistently from age 25 will likely outperform a high-earning professional who spends aggressively, invests inconsistently, and starts at 40. Income matters, but systems and consistency matter more. Third, at the higher end of wealth building, tax strategy becomes one of your most powerful tools. The difference between a well-optimized tax strategy and a careless one can be hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Maximize your tax-advantaged accounts. Understand capital gains and how holding periods affect your tax rate. Consider a Roth conversion ladder if it makes sense for your situation. This is not about avoiding taxes illegally. It is about using the rules that already exist to keep more of what you earn. And fourth, at every stage of this journey, but especially as you approach and cross the $1 million milestone, your behavior during market downturns determines your outcome more than almost anything else. Because the market will go down multiple times, significantly, and every single time it does, there will be loud voices telling you that this time is different, that this time it is not coming back, that you need to get out now. Do not listen to those voices. The people who build life-changing wealth are not the people who time the market perfectly. They are the people who stayed, who automated their contributions, who bought more during dips, who treated a market crash not as a catastrophe, but as a sale. Your job is not to predict the market. Your job is to build a system that keeps working regardless of what the market does in the short term. Automate, diversify, rebalance, and stay the course. So let's bring this all together, because I want you to leave this video with something real and actionable. The first milestone, $10,000, is your proof of concept. It proves to yourself that you can do this. It builds the habits and the systems that everything else is built on top of. Do not skip it. Do not rush through it. Respect it. The second milestone, $100,000, is your inflection point. This is where compounding stops being a concept you read about and starts being something you see in your account. This is where your money starts doing real work for you. And this is the milestone that rewards patience more than almost anything else. And the third milestone, $1 million, is your point of no return. This is where the machine runs itself, where financial independence becomes real, where the life you have been building toward becomes the life you are actually living. None of these milestones happen by accident. They happen because of systems, because of automation, because of consistency over time. Even when consistency feels boring, even when progress feels invisible, even when the market is doing something terrifying. The money takes off. You just have to stay in long enough to let it happen. If this video helped you, please hit that like button. It helps this channel more than you know. Subscribe so you catch every video we put out, and drop a comment below. Tell me which milestone you are currently working toward. I read every single one. Until next time, I am Ron. Keep building.